Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Tanisha, also known as ERNurse86 over on Twitter, and in today's video we're going to be discussing race versus ethnicity versus nationality. And the reason I want to have this discussion is I've noticed that a lot of people like to use these three terms interchangeably, and I think it's because they've conflated the three, but it's very important that we understand and recognize that while they are very closely related to one another, they are in fact three very different and separate categories. So let's get into nationality first, because I feel like it's the most straightforward, easy to understand concept. So nationality, quite simply, is the nation or country that you come from. So some examples of different nationalities include Haitian, Japanese, Portuguese, Scottish, Samoan, Australian, and on and on and on and on. Now, nationality does not necessarily determine your race or your ethnicity, though as I mentioned before, sometimes they are very closely related. And I think part of the confusion about nationality is that there are so many countries out there where the population is pretty homogenous, and basically everyone from that country comes from the same racial background. So there's several countries in Asia, for example, where basically the entire population there is Asian, but that's not true for every country. In the US, in Canada, in different parts of the UK, all across Europe, you have a melting pot where the population is composed of people from all kinds of different racial backgrounds. So nationality, as opposed to race and ethnicity, is very fluid, and it can change depending on your migrating to other countries and obtaining citizenship there. Take me, for example. My nationality is American. I am a US citizen by birth, and my race is Black. But if I was to immigrate to, say, Canada or Brazil, or even Japan, my nationality would change to Canadian, Brazilian, or Japanese, respectively. So my nationality would change, but my race as Black would remain the same. So let's get into race, which is obviously a lot more complicated than nationality. And the reason for that is the definition of race is one that's in flux. It has been ever evolving over time, and it still is, even to this day. But how we currently define race is a group of people which share certain physical traits and phenotypes. And by physical traits, I'm talking skin color, bone structure, hair type, etc., etc., etc. Now, it's very important that we note that race is in fact a social construct that was created by the dominant group, i.e. white people, but it still has some very real and in many cases serious implications for all of us. So what are some of the racial groups that we currently recognize? Well, Arab, Asian, Polynesian or Pacific Islander, Indigenous or First Nations, Black, and white. And if you're wondering why Hispanic, Latin has been left out of this list, that was very intentional. And the reason for that is, contrary to the very widespread misconception, Latin Hispanic is not actually recognized as a race, but rather it's categorized as an ethnic group. So it is very possible and actually very common for people to be Latin and of any of those races that I just listed. You can be Black and Latin, you can be white and Latin, you can be Indigenous or Asian or Arab, etc. and Latin. It's not a race, but an ethnic group. So moving right on along into ethnic groups. Ethnic groups are defined as groups of people who identify with one another based on a shared language, history, religion, ancestry, society, and or set of traditions within the area where they live. So what are some examples of different ethnic groups? Well, as I mentioned before, Latin, Slavs, Igbo, Jews, Tamil, Armenian, and on and on and on and on. Now, for many ethnic groups, race is directly tied, and nearly all people, if not all people, from that ethnic group are of the same race. But, like I said with nationality, this isn't always the case. So, what do I mean when I say that? Well, Igbo is an ethnic group from Nigeria, and essentially all Igbo people are black. But that's not true for Latin people, as I said before, and it's not true for Jews either. It's possible to be black and Jewish. It's possible to be white and Jewish. It's possible to be any mixture of the different racial groups that I listed before and Jewish. So I think that's what's been causing so much confusion, because all of these things, they're like running side by side, and they're so closely related that things kind of get muddled and confused, and the definition of both race and ethnicity is ever changing. So this is what we're working with right now, and maybe 5-10 years from now things will be different. Only time will tell. That's pretty much all I've got for today's video. I know that the topic was pretty heavy. It's kind of a touchy subject, and I hope that I have explained things in a way that was inoffensive and easy for people to understand. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, or if you feel like maybe I missed something, please be sure to leave a comment down below, and I will make sure that I get back to each and every one of you that does so. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, I appreciate your support. I will hopefully be posting the next video within the next day or two. It's going to be another heavy topic concerning racism. So please stick with me. I hope you guys are going to be around for that one as well. I will catch you guys in the next video. Thanks. Bye. La, la, la.